panelists now to come up, and Cory Hallam is going to moderate. Cory, I'm going to introduce Cory, our moderator, and he will take care of getting the rest of our panelists introduced. We have a really interesting panel today that's going to talk about, really continue Jim's discussion on innovation, sort of where we are in San Antonio today and what does the future hold. Cory is the Assistant Vice President and Executive Director of the Center for Innovation. Is that right? Let's see, I have it here. The Center for Innovation and Technology Entrepreneurship, the CITE site at UTSA. In this role, Cory helps establish university policy and processes to really work on focusing commercialization of technology and spin-offs. He also teaches in the College of Business and Engineering. Cory has a bachelor's degree from Carleton University and 2 master's degrees and a PhD from MIT. Please join me in welcoming our moderator, Cory Hallam.
Okay, since I get the podium for 2 seconds, I have to pitch UTSA. That's what we do. If you don't know right now, UTSA is the second largest member of the UT system. We have almost 30,000 students this year. We've been the fastest growing member of the UT system out of the 15 institutions. Our research expenditures grew one of the largest last year, growing 34%. And if you're not aware, our entrepreneurship program is actually one of the biggest and fastest growing in all of Texas. When we talked earlier about, Gabby and I were talking in the hallway about lighting the fire and creating a pipeline. Part of what we're trying to do, a lot of what we're talking here is the deal end and the company creation end. At our end, we're trying to create that pipeline of young tech entrepreneurs. We run a boot camp twice a year, which is the A to Z's of starting a tech company in one day. We put 500 people through that so far. Starting last fall, we turned our annual tech competition to a semi-annual 100K competition. I'm giving away over $100,000 in prizes and services every semester to the top teams coming out with new companies and new ventures, funded by our founding sponsor, the TRTF over here, along with some others. And we're about to launch a graduate program, so any graduate student can do a concentration in entrepreneurship regardless of what discipline they're in. So we're trying to fill the front end of what's going on in town. And we have a wonderful panel here today talking to us about the deal end of what's happening. First, I'd like to introduce Mr. Fred Dinger. He's current president and CEO of ENTrigue Surgical. Depending on which email I get from him, he either has 20 or 25 years of experience, including management, product manufacturing, operations, product commercialization, and research and development teams. And he also serves as president and chief executive officer of Concept to Market, the captive consulting group to medical device companies for investors. Next, I'm actually going to go to York, next over here. York's with the Texas Research and Technology Foundation. How many of you do not know York? Hands. All right, I'll do the intro. I thought everybody knew York. York has been instrumental in helping the Texas Research Park grow and has been involved since the 90s in many of the young biotech startups that grew up at the park and have since gone on to commercialize, get acquired, go international. And has been instrumental also in setting up a new nonprofit, the Texas Technology Development Center, T3DC, I believe it's called, who is now being headed by the president of that, Mr. Randy Goldsmith. How many of you know Randy?
Doctor.
Okay, so you're known in town. Good. So he's heading that up as a nonprofit corporation created by the board of directors of the Texas Research and Technology Foundation to look at seed investment and early stage companies here in town. Finally, we have Steve Lutz. How many people do not know Steve? I'm getting a feeling for how well this crowd knows each other. This is good. He's worked for AT&T for 28 years, starting in sales, working his way throughout, all the way more recently working on the development and marketing of their voice over IP product, their UVerse voice. He works with the San Antonio Technology Accelerator and serves as chairman of the IT committee for the Greater Chamber of Commerce of San Antonio. So we've got 4 great panelists touching all different aspects of the entrepreneurial technology development community in San Antonio. And we're going to give them each several minutes to talk about a couple areas, and then we'll open it for Q&A. And I will remind them that between now and drinks is you. Okay? I was waiting for that answer.
First drink's on York.
And actually, I'm going to go down the table in the order we are here right now. So I'm going to give it over to Fred, first of all, to give a little talk on your experience with the startups and the growth of companies here in San Antonio, and what you sort of see happening in the next 2 to 5 years.
Thanks, Cory. Actually, if we want to cut to the chase, I'll summarize in one word: Mavericks. Obviously, a good presentation. I learned a little bit more about where Mavericks come from. But that really is, as we've talked about, and I look around the room, a lot of Mavericks are here in this room. There's a lot of folks here involved in startups or spin-outs or spin-offs. The cycle tends to be larger companies create either spin-offs or spin-outs based on whether they're actually spinning out a technology and creating another company, or spin-offs may be someone or some group of people inside a bigger company that say, you know, there's an area of this market that's just not being covered, and we have an idea on how to go attack that, and it's different from our home company, so we're going to go start another company that's touching the same field but attacking something different. So there's that entrepreneurial spirit coming through. There's pure startups. Startups are both medical, which is a lot of what we're talking about here today, but also IT and other areas like that. And the cycle there is, once a startup grows to a certain level, proves itself, and let's say it gets acquired, then from that startup, whether directly or indirectly, quickly or more of a slow fuse, people from that company continue to have the entrepreneurial spirit and then go off to other companies. And I was having a conversation with Joey and Gabi one day. We were at a luncheon where an informal group of entrepreneurs were meeting, and we looked around the room, and in 2006, the company we worked on, Osteobiologics, was acquired by Smith & Nephew. And if we didn't count Smith & Nephew, we looked around the room, and there were people now representing 5 different companies in that room, and we all worked together at OBI. So the key there is that the entrepreneurial spirit, while may come together with a group of people for a period of time, then it splits off. It's kind of the amoeba thing. You want to keep splitting off and creating. So what San Antonio needs, and where we really are right now, is we need a few more turns, as I call it. It's like an inventory turn. We need to turn the inventory a few more times. The startups that are going, on the medical side, we have drug startups, we have device startups, we have biologic startups. And as those grow and either get acquired or somehow come to spawn, then there will be more companies created from there. And that's how the multiplication happens. And the key there is they need money. I know there's a whole session on chasing money, and that's really a great term right now. It's chasing money because it's starting hard to define, but persistence really matters. And so that's kind of the cycle. We need a few more turns there in San Antonio. In the next 2 to 5 years, I really think the 5 companies that we kind of counted out for the example, in the next 2 to 5 years, those companies will probably go through either an acquisition or a significant growth that creates more jobs and then more companies. So that's really where we are on the entrepreneurial side.